So now we're going to talk about the whole word approach versus sounding out words. These are two different methods that have been presented in reading curriculum. The whole word approach is where you teach a child to memorize the whole word instead of sounding it out, like because, chair, tree, trunk. They memorize the whole word like on a flashcard, and sometimes they would do it in red so as to imprint on their brain better. This method has its limitations. Here, if you teach a child 100 words, to memorize 100 words over a period of time, then when they learn those 100 words, they can read sentences with those 100 words. However, if you teach a child to sound out their words, so they learn all of their sounds and you teach them to sound them out, they can read tens of thousands of words. I'm going to say that that's the way to go. However, there is one area where you just can't sound out words. And these are words that are traditionally referred to as sight words. For example, the word eye. Not me, but my eye, my eyeball. It is spelled E-Y-E. So if we sound that out, that is going to be eh. Well, no, it's not eh, it's I. Doesn't look like it, even remotely. So those types of words that you cannot sound out correctly, those we teach whole word approach on a flashcard, actually lots of different ways, and I'll get into that later. But those have to be taught the whole word. You cannot sound them out. Thankfully, for our children, there's not a lot of words that you have to learn using this method. So in general, we teach them to sound out all the words that can be sounded out. And actually, it reminds me of a saying that says, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. And that is true with sounding out words. If you give him a whole word, you're feeding him for a day. He can read that one word or those 10 words. But if you teach him how to sound out words, then it won't matter if he's never seen that word in his life. He'll be able to figure it out by sounding it out. And that, to me, makes it a much superior method of teaching. Now, the caveat for that is they have to learn their sounds. And their sounds are not just abacada. But thankfully for kindergartners, we don't have to worry about those extra sounds like SH, TH, all of those. We get into that in first grade, and I'm going to make another video for that. But suffice it to say, sounding out using phonemic awareness, all those sounds, that is the best method out there to teach your child how to read. And that is the one that I will be using in this video. Now, a really important part of all of this is when they sound out words. So say you have a reading session with them and they're practicing their words. One mistake that a lot of people make is that they sound them out and then they go on to the next lesson the next day. This is a big mistake. And let me tell you why. If they struggle, which most kids do when they first see a word and they're just learning how to sound out, which kindergartners are, it takes them a little bit and they struggle. If you have to struggle for every word, every day, that can be very frustrating for your child. So we employ what we call repeated reading. So they may sound out those words today, and then tomorrow they might read them again. And tomorrow it's going to be a lot easier because it's not the first time they've seen them. And they may see it a third time if they need to. And it's a lot easier. And that does a lot for their confidence. And I'm going to talk more about repeated later on, but I wanted to put that in here that when you're sounding out, don't just have them sound it out once. Let them see that word again, numerous times, so it becomes much quicker. All right, let's move on.